Stoic principles for modern living. Stoicism, which is considered to be one of the most practical philosophies of the Greeks, is still misunderstood by the majority of people, even though the Greeks, from Aristotle to Socrates to Plato, put a lot of effort into how individuals should live their lives. Even though Stoicism has an unjustified reputation for being connected with emotionlessness, it can lead to a manner of living that is extremely gratifying. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that may be practiced by anybody to boost their happiness. Many of the ideals described in this philosophy are ones that you may already be putting into practice in your day-to-day interactions. Stoicism is a philosophy that, at its core, incorporates practices of mindfulness and value-based living. Stoicism is a philosophy that aims to minimize the negative emotions that you experience in your life and maximize your feelings of appreciation and joy. Number 5, you can't change things outside of your control, but you can change your attitude. The practice of mindfulness is an essential part of the Stoic philosophy. Learn to identify the aspects of your life over which you have control and those over which you do not. You are squandering your energy and cultivating negative feelings when you allow yourself to become frustrated by circumstances that are beyond your control. An example from Buddhist literature is the most effective way to convey the Stoic practice of shielding one's thoughts from external factors that are beyond one's control. Mara, who is the antagonist of the story, is someone who is opposed to the Buddha. When Mara learned of the Buddha's abilities, he made it his mission to eliminate him, so he dispatched a formidable army. The soldiers were given the order by Mara to throw flaming boulders at the Buddha. However, when they got closer to him, the rocks transformed into flowers and dropped to the ground. Following this, the enemy of the Buddha gave orders to the army to fire arrows at the Buddha, but once again, the arrows turned into flowers as they got closer to the sphere that the Buddha was protecting. Considering that the Buddha had achieved the ability to shield his happiness from the effects of external circumstances, there was nothing that Mara could do to harm the Buddha. The pebbles and arrows are a metaphor for negative thoughts regarding the situations that are occurring outside of oneself. The only thing you can do is alter your perspective on these occurrences. You can't change the events themselves. Our mind has the potential to become impenetrable as a result of this awareness. Because we can manage our attitudes and behaviors, it is highly unlikely that we will ever be badly impacted by events that occur in the outside world. Number 4, don't fall prey to modern society's materialistic nature. As a consumerist society, we appear to be generating more desires than we can satisfy. Because of this, everyone can keep up with the Joneses. Yet it is highly unlikely that even the Joneses are content with their lives. Our frequent exposure to the media and advertising keeps us wanting and see better out there. As a result, we spend our hard-earned money on the most recent trend, certain that it will leave us satisfied until version 2.0 is out the following year. As a result of making an effort to want less, our desire will reduce and we will become more content with what we already possess, which gets us to the following quotation. Number 3, picture life without the people and possessions you have to truly appreciate them. We now understand that the desire for more results in discontent. Therefore, the question is, how can we obtain happiness? Being grateful is the key to success. We ought to be grateful for everything we have and find happiness in doing so. We are currently living in an extraordinary moment in history, one in which we have simple access to the things that we need, and technology that enables us to enjoy a standard of life that was thought to be unattainable just a few generations ago. Instead of expressing gratitude for something, we tend to take it for granted. Imagine that you have misplaced some of your most treasured items. This is one method of practicing Stoicism. Initially, it might sound dismal, but by envisioning these losses, we can develop a greater appreciation for what we already possess. It is of the utmost importance that we should not place an excessive amount of importance on the things that we possess, as it is possible that they will not always be available. A Stoic is someone who can find enjoyment in whatever they already own. If they place a lot of importance on something external to themselves, and then that thing is taken away from them, the Stoics should not be unhappy, but rather grateful that they had the object in the first place. It is the universe that provides all that we have. Joy is found in the fact that kindness endures, even though mass comes and goes. Number 2, Be genuinely cheerful in all your interactions. We now understand that happiness originates from inside and can be achieved by enjoying all that is in our immediate environment. Even something as uncomplicated as the fact that we are currently living in a period when we can get bottled water for $1 from a vending machine that is no more than 100 feet away from us. Sometimes we truly do take things for granted. Our happiness can become independent of external causes when we adopt a Stoic mindset. Therefore, as Stoics, we ought to have a positive attitude at all times, since we want nothing more than to have the experience of being human. We can allow ourselves to feel disappointed if we have a desire for more. This does not imply that Stoics are unable to appreciate the more refined aspects of life. Rather, it merely indicates that we should not consider these aspects to be essential to our happiness. We are only able to experience true fulfillment when we contribute to the betterment of society and the globe by assisting others in developing society, both of which are activities that we are all capable of doing regularly. Number 1, practicing your values beats preaching them. A significant amount of personal responsibility is required to follow the Stoic philosophy. It's not that you should be hard on yourself, but you should recognize that every action that you make throughout the day carries a moral dimension. It is essential to engage in the practice of Stoicism if one wants to have a more positive impact on the world. Ask yourself daily, what is the most effective way to behave in this circumstance? To contribute to the betterment of society as a whole, you ought to make decisions that are founded on your ideals. Adhere to the principles that guide your life. It is my experience that the lessons of Stoicism, when put into practice, have the potential to improve the quality of life that we lead. The philosophy of Stoicism is not an all-or-nothing philosophy. You are free to choose which aspects of Stoicism would have the most significant impact on your life. To conclude Stoicism, it is important to avoid becoming engrossed in materialistic pursuits, to maintain positive relationships with your coworkers to bring them up, to work conscientiously and for the greater good, and to be aware of what is within your control and what is beyond it. Not allowing things that are beyond your control to affect your happiness is essential. When frustrating things occur, take a deep breath, acknowledge your feelings and the reason for them, and then allow them to change. Without a doubt, there is nothing you can do about it. All that you have power over is your response. And all that you can do is represent goodness and be grateful for everything that you have, which is something that I am confident will bring us all happiness. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you.